First of all, I just want to say thank you for all the questions, all the mail we've been getting, people trusting Wrestling Mindset to give them insights on how to improve their wrestling career, their school, their entire life. Had a great question this morning from a Division I wrestler saying that he really talks himself out of winning matches. He said he beats people in practice, and then in matches, he feels like he does, 4 times worse. And this is very common, and we see it at all different levels, literally from elementary school right through professional athletes, some of the best college wrestlers in the country. It's very common. So what's the difference between practice and competition? Physically, there's no difference. If you're going live wrestling is live wrestling. It doesn't matter where it's done. It doesn't matter if it's in practice, postseason, preseason, all-star match, anywhere. It doesn't make a difference. It's the same size mat, the same rules, all out live wrestling. There's nothing different physically. All it is mental. That's very good for you, because once you learn what's blocking you, how you're making it different mentally and emotionally, it's real easy to change that. So you need to get a grip on that. In your matches, what exactly are you telling yourself? I recommend picking 3 matches where you really feel like you underperformed. Now notice I didn't say lost. You might have won the match, but a match that you really feel like you underperformed, pick 3 of them. What exactly was going on mentally and emotionally? What was your energy level like on a scale of 1 to 10? What were you telling yourself? So put it all down and be as detailed and specific as possible. I submit to you that the more detailed and honest you are with yourself, the more this exercise is going to help you, the more fruit this is going to bear. So write it all down. Don't just say I was nervous. Why exactly were you nervous? What exactly were you thinking? Keep asking why. Then I want you to do the same thing for practice. Think about 3 of your best practices. What was your energy level like on a scale of 1 to 10? What thoughts were you thinking? What words were you saying to yourself? What were you thinking about? What weren't you thinking about? And then you want to compare those 2 sheets of paper side by side. That's why everything we do with Wrestling Mindset, we put the pen to paper. I can't stress that enough. Mindset seems very abstract, theoretical, philosophical. It's all like up there in our head. When you put it down on paper, you start to get a hold of all this abstractness. You make it very concrete. Most of us got into wrestling because we need to touch it, taste it, smell it. We need to involve our 5 senses. So that's what we want you to do with your mindset. When we say mindset training, we're not talking about motivational speaking or counseling. It's putting the pen to paper, and this is one of our most powerful exercises you could do. And it's great that we got this question from a Division I wrestler, because this could help everyone. I know 7, 8 out of 10 wrestlers are struggling with this exact same thing. So write down what you're thinking in matches. What are you feeling in matches? What's your energy level like? What are you telling yourself? And then do the same thing with your best practices. 2 different sheets of paper, compare them side by side. I guarantee you this, you're going to see 2 totally different people. You're going to be telling yourself one thing in practice and the other thing in a match. If this is for you, if this case is for you. And then now you have a hold of what to tell yourself. It's not a secret. Do more of what works, do less of what doesn't work. If I had to venture a guess, I would assume in matches, you're making it more important. You're telling yourself, this is what counts. And this goes for wrestle-offs too a lot of times. We say, this is what counts. This is what matters. This means something. I've been working hard for this. In practice, it's usually a little bit different. It's not saying you're not trying to win your live goes in practice, but you're not thinking as much about winning. You're thinking about beating the kid, but you're not thinking about winning. You're thinking about scoring points, but you're not thinking about the score. Usually. So if that's what you're telling yourself and it's working, keep doing it in matches. Do what works, do less of what doesn't work. So it helps to compare your best performances and worst performances. And this works for everything. Let's say you do really well in practice and sometimes you're inconsistent in matches. Write down your best matches, write down your worst matches, and what's going on in your mind. Be sensitive to the music you listen to. In other words, if you're the type of person that needs to be more calm and relaxed, listen to easier music before your matches. On the other hand, if you're getting scored on early in almost every match, you might not be mentally ready to go. You might not, I mean, you could be putting too much pressure on yourself, but also you might not mentally and emotionally be ready. You might need to listen to harder music, or you may scrap the whole music thing altogether. There's no right or wrong when it comes to your subjective mindset. The wrong thing is not having a plan, okay? The wrong thing is not putting the pen to paper. But specifically what you should be telling yourself, that's highly individual. I can't tell you exactly what works. I could tell you what works for most people. Usually if you're at your best, you treat it the same. You're focusing on your effort, your attitude, your aggressiveness. You're giving yourself short, one word or 2 or 3 word statements like move your feet, get to your tie up, score first, move quick, whatever it is. It's short, quick things you're telling yourself. It's not a long, drawn-out dialogue before you step on the mat. Also, make sure you have a pre-match routine. That's really the scope, that goes beyond the scope of this video, but it's very relevant to this video that everyone should have a pre-match routine. What exactly you're doing and telling yourself 15 minutes right before you step out there and wrestle. And the simplest thing is, one of the 4 elements there is doing some hands-on drilling. Actually drilling with someone when you're on deck. Before you're going to go out and wrestle, drill with someone so it feels like practice. A lot of times every time in practice before you go live, you warm up first, you wrestle with someone, you drill, and then you go live. Well, how come before a match, we're not always drilling, right? That's a big change. So make sure you're drilling before you go live so you don't get into a situation where you're easing your way into a match. You want to get your motor running before you step on the mat so you're ready to score early and set the tone for that match. Those are a few things that could help you, and won't just help you asking the question, but it'll help everyone who's watching the video. So like I said, thank you very much for the questions, everyone. We see a lot of people sending stuff, and now is the time to work on your mindset. I say it before and I say it again, the best time to start is now, especially with the season still a little ways away, competition still being a little ways away. If you start working on your mindset once a week now, you will not regret it. You're going to be very happy you did that once you get to January, February. But it's got to start now. And it's not just watching the video. It's great. I'm happy you watched the video, but you really need to take the bull by the horns and do consistent mindset training. So we're getting DMs from people left and right about wanting to start the mindset program. It's time you gave yourself the mental edge. Make sure you get a hold of us, DM us. Very simple. We'll get you up and running. That's the great thing about our program. We could get you started within a few days. Stay with us. Mindset makes the difference.